I've been living in Cyprus for 5 years. I have 3 limited companies myself, and my team and I, we helped hundreds of entrepreneurs and businesses relocate and incorporate companies as well. Hey everybody, it's Rico, and in this video I'm going to talk about relocating to Cyprus and incorporating a company here. I remember about 5 years ago when I left Germany, I first traveled to Bali. And I stayed there for a good 5 months, enjoying life and working on my business. However, I knew Bali will not be my forever home. But at the same time, I also didn't want to go back to Germany. There I had to give up 50% of my hard-earned money, which is insane. And so I was looking into all the low-tax jurisdictions out there. Malta, Cyprus, Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, Estonia, Romania, Bulgaria, you name it. But in the end, I chose Cyprus for a few reasons. First, the lifestyle. I just love the Mediterranean, relaxed, laid-back lifestyle where you can focus on your business and also at the same time go out to the beach, constant warm sunny weather, amazing food, culture and a lot of greenery. Then also too, the easy tax structure. The tax system in Cyprus is fair, simple and straightforward. 12.5% corporate tax and 0% dividend tax. On top of that, many other processes in Cyprus are also very easy, such as the company formation, the accounting, the auditing and many other bureaucratic processes. And also Cyprus is bilingual, so you will never really have an issue with the language here. Number 3, safety. No matter where I go here in Cyprus, I always feel very safe, and in 5 years of living here, I never really heard or seen a serious dangerous crime. Number 4, the potential of the country. When I first moved to Cyprus in 2019-20-ish, I saw the potential this country has, and seeing it unfold within the last few years is truly making me happy. And I know the future of Cyprus is bright and the country will be even better. Which leads to number 5, real estate. I genuinely believe that owning real estate in Cyprus is a very smart move. I mean, it can be your family's holiday getaway, but at the same time it can be an amazing investment. The rising demand and the influx of foreigners makes sure that the property prices in Cyprus will grow significantly over your lifetime. Plus, you will always have the options to sell or rent out your property for a great ROI. But more on that in my real estate video right here. And those were my top 5 reasons on why I chose Cyprus. And I just quickly wanted to mention them so that it helps you a little bit with your decision on what's going to be your new home. As I relocated myself, I know how you feel right now, and I know that it's a very big move, so you definitely want to be sure that you're doing the right decision. So now let's talk about how to move to Cyprus and how to incorporate a company here. First, I need to mention that this depends a lot on your current situation, your citizenship and also your current setup. The easiest way to relocate to Cyprus would be an EU citizen comes to Cyprus and incorporates a fresh new company. However, not every case is as simple as that. For instance, non-EU nationals will have a different process of gaining PR in Cyprus, and also existing business owners might need to incorporate a holding company here in Cyprus, or maybe even convert their current entity in their home country into a Cyprus entity, instead of just incorporating a new one. But for the sake of this video, I will now present everything as easy as possible. So let's start with the immigration. And the first thing you need for that is a residency in Cyprus. Not a tax residency, but a residency permit so that you can actually stay in the country. And this would be either the yellow slip for EU nationals or the pink slip for non-EU nationals. This residency permit, or permanent residency, or PR in short, is necessary so that you're legally allowed to work in Cyprus, which is then necessary later on if you want to be employed by your own company. Because with the visitor visa, for example, which is very popular and a lot of people want to have it, but the problem with that is that you're not legally allowed to work in Cyprus and or receive a salary. You can only stay in the country for longer than 90 days as a visitor, like the name of the visa suggests. Yes, I know, there is the option to incorporate a company of foreign affairs. However, in most cases, like 99%, this is not really relevant. If it would be relevant for you, then we will definitely find that out in our individual consultation call and we will let you know. Anyway, once you obtained your PR, we can then register you for social insurance and potentially NHS, which is also called YESI. It's basically the National Health Service here in Cyprus. And now, with your residency and your social insurance, you can then qualify as a tax resident in Cyprus, and you can do that via two options. First, the 183 days rule, which basically means you need to stay in the country of Cyprus for more than 183 days per tax calendar year, and then you become a tax resident of Cyprus. Or two, the 60 days rule, which basically means you need to stay in the country of Cyprus for more than 60 days, 2 months. However, this comes with quite some more requirements, such as you must maintain strong ties to the country of Cyprus with a long-term rental agreement or owning a property here, conducting business in Cyprus, and also you can't be a tax resident anywhere else in the world, because then you logically become a tax resident of their country and not of Cyprus anymore. And once you become a tax resident of Cyprus, either via the 6 months or the 2 months, then you can apply for the popular non-dom status. And the non-dom status is actually not a tax residency, as many people think. The non-dom status is just a special tax status, a tax exemption for individuals that are non-domiciled in the jurisdiction of Cyprus. If you're non-domiciled in Cyprus, then you're exempt from the so-called Special Defense Contribution, or SDC, which is basically the dividend tax in Cyprus, which, yes, exists, but only for domiciled individuals, because they actually have to pay about 17% in dividend tax. But not if you relocate to Cyprus as a foreigner and you become a non-dom. And these benefits last for 17 years, because after 17 years you will be seen as domiciled, and then you will also be liable for the SDC. However, I think 17 years should be enough to make a lot of money. Also, I sometimes hear some smart people say, but Rico, the dividend tax is not 0%, you have to pay 2.65% for YESI. Yeah, I know, but it's YESI, it's not a tax, so it's still technically tax-free. The 2.65% is a contribution to the National Health Service here in Cyprus, and you actually receive a service for that. And also the contribution is even capped at 180,000 euros in yearly dividend income. That means that even if you receive 10 million in dividends, the maximum you will pay is 4,770 euros from all your worldwide dividend income. And that means the maximum you will pay in dividend tax is less than 5,000 euros, which sounds totally fair to me, knowing that in Germany, for example, the dividend tax is flat, 25% on everything, no matter how much you receive. So now, who can actually apply for the non-dom status? And the answer is anyone that didn't live in Cyprus for more than 17 years within the last 20 years. And no, it has nothing to do with your family tree or your place of birth. You don't have to find out if you have any Cypriots in your family, because even a Cypriot born in Cyprus with Cypriot parents can become a non-dom if he was raised in the UK, for example, for 20, 25, 30 plus years, and then he wants to return to Cyprus. He will be then a non-domiciled individual in Cyprus because he never really made Cyprus his life center home. So, in short, the immigration to Cyprus for a natural person consists of 1. Gaining residency permit, 2. Social insurance and potentially YESI or NHS, 3. Gaining tax residency in Cyprus, and 4. Becoming a non-dom. And now let's discuss the even more interesting part, which is the company formation, and which is actually a simultaneous process. But let me explain. So actually, we don't need to start with the immigration first and then we do the company formation. In many cases, we do both at the very same time, or sometimes we even do the company formation first and then the immigration. It all depends on your individual situation and what you're trying to achieve and what period of time. And this is why I always say it makes more sense to book an individual consultation call so that we can help you in your specific case. Company formation. And the first step for the company formation is to find and reserve a unique company name. we need to make sure that the name consists of 2 or even 3 words so that we can avoid a rejection, especially if you're in a rush. We don't want to waste time choosing an existing name because each application takes about 3 working days. So, very important, the company name needs to be unique. Then you and potentially your business partners, if you have some, will be assigned as directors and secretaries of the company, and in some cases the client wants an offshore setup, and then in these cases we also can appoint a local director because the director of a company needs to be a local tax resident of Cyprus. Then your company also needs a local company address, of course, and yes, you could use your home address if you live in Cyprus. However, keep in mind that every time you want to change the address, it costs about 100 euros because we need to make changes in the registrar. And so I don't recommend to put an Airbnb address as the company address because it will not work anyway. You need a rental contract, but it needs to be something where you know you will have access to for many, many years. Either a property you own or a property you have a very long rental contract with, or we even offer the service of putting your company address at our office for a small fee so that you know you can always receive all the letters and we will print them and send them to you via email. Other than that, we will most likely also register you at the VAT department so that you can receive your own VAT number and start issuing invoices within the European Union or do a reverse charge, whatever you want to do. And no, it's not obligatory, but in most cases it does make sense. So those were the most important steps when it comes to a company formation. And for all these things, we have a specific workflow and a checklist, of course. So once you contact us, we will guide you in every step of the way. And then our lawyers will register your company with the Department of Registrar of Companies, which will then mark the official launch of your company. Woohoo! Congratulations! Shortly after that, we will receive the set of all company certificates from the authorities. We will send them to you, and then you can start operating, opening bank accounts and issuing invoices. And a little side note for banking. Yes, you can legally open bank accounts in any country in the world. However, not every bank accepts a Cyprus entity. And in that case, we are happy to assist you in finding the ideal bank accounts for your company. As I said earlier, the exact order for the immigration and the company formation varies from case to case. However, you don't even need to know every little detail because you're working with a service provider. You need lawyers and accountants anyway, and they will take care of everything. I just wanted to mention the most important general steps here in this video that you need to know for now. Okay, so now you know why to relocate to Cyprus, how to do it, and how to open a business here. However, now it's very important that you hear the following 10 common mistakes so that you don't do the same and lose a lot of money and time. Number 1, the very first step to relocating to a new country properly is actually to deregister yourself from your home country. And you do that by informing the local authorities in your city about 1 week before you plan to leave. You'll receive official documents proving that you no longer intend to be a resident of your current country, which you will need for tax purposes later on, also for canceling memberships and subscriptions in your current home country under a special clause. For example, a gym membership can be closed if you no longer intend to stay in the country. Which leads to the second common mistake, and that is to cut ties with your home country properly. In order to legally not be a tax resident of your current country anymore, this little document is actually not enough in most countries. You need to change your life center to the new country, Cyprus, and you do that by spending less than 183 days in your current country and qualifying for the 183 or 60 days tax residency in Cyprus. On top of that, you should also not use any local services anymore from your current country. Ideally, sell all of your immovable assets, especially if you have friends or family living there. And also your family in general plays a very big role, especially your spouse and children, what they are doing, where they are living, and what your relationship is with them. Number 3, very important, you definitely need to close your current health insurance manually. Otherwise, they might not be informed that you left the country and they keep providing their service to you even if you don't want it even if you don't pay. And then a few years down the line, you will receive a huge bill from them and you have to pay it. And trust me, I've seen that many times. Number 4, you should check with a local advisor about any exit taxes that might apply. For example, in Germany and some Scandinavian countries, exit tax exists under some special conditions, and so it's very important to get professional advice to avoid big bills. Also, the timing of your relocation plays a very big role regarding the tax calendar year, because depending on when you leave your home country, you might still be considered a tax resident for the running year. In most cases, June 1st is the turning point, because this is the year halving, and if you leave after June 1st, you spend more than 183 days in your current country, and so this makes you a tax resident of your old country. So most likely you can't become a Cypriot tax resident if you relocate in, let's say, December for that year, but obviously for the following year then. So make sure to check how the tax calendar operates in your current country, because in some countries like the UK, for example, the tax calendar operates a bit different. It starts in April, whereas here in Cyprus it starts in January. Number 6 is very important, and that is the rental agreement and utility bills. For any process, whether it is immigration, company formation, bank account opening, anything, the first thing you need is a rental agreement. So make sure to buy or rent a property as soon as possible so that we can start with any of the processes that I mentioned earlier. And if you need assistance with that, you can reach out to us via the video description. If you're doing it on your own, definitely make sure that the utility bills are on your name, because some of the properties that you can rent here in Cyprus don't offer utility bills. But for any important process like bank account openings, you always need utility bills from either water or electricity. The internet doesn't work because it's very easy to fake. Number 7 is something that I did mention earlier, and that is upon your successful immigration, you will also receive your individual tax number, and that is called the tax identification number, or in short, TIN. The TIN number is also very important for a lot of processes, such as starting a brokerage account, for example. Number 8 is a pro tip for everyone that wants to become a non-dom in Cyprus with their own company, and that is to pay yourself a salary as little as legally possible. But what does that mean? Entrepreneurs from other countries are used to getting paid via salary and dividends. However, here in Cyprus, as the dividends are tax-free, we want to pay ourselves as much as possible via dividends and as little as possible via salary. Why? Because social insurance contributions apply on your salary but not on your dividends. And so with this little pro tip, you can save yourself even more money next to the tax advantages. Number 9, if you already own a successful business, then depending on the size, you might need a special structure. And in that case, I definitely recommend you to get an individual consultation call with us so that we can give you professional advice. However, of course, you're free to work with any service provider you want. And number 10, when it comes to prices, no matter who you decide to work with, always ask for the full package price, because a lot of service providers here on the island attract clients with very low prices. However, they don't show the full picture. And then just a few weeks later, you have to pay for this service and that service, and you don't even know what it means because it wasn't included in the initial offer. Even if it says company formation on the offer, it doesn't mean it's the full package. It doesn't mean social insurance registration, VAT registration, creating of all the company certificates, memorandum, articles of association, registering you as the director, as the salary, as the secretary. So all of those things can be sold as separate services. So don't believe cheap prices and make sure to work with professionals. And most importantly, enjoy your time in Cyprus. And if you want to buy a property here in Cyprus, make sure to watch this video about the Cyprus real estate market, and I will see you there.